You know, plants are basically tiny chemical factories, just humming along 24/7. And today, we're going to crack open the case of two of their most interesting products, serotonin and its super mysterious parent molecule, tryptamine. Trust me, this is a story that goes way deeper than you think. It's a real botanical whodunit.
So when you hear the word serotonin, your mind probably jumps straight to the human brain, right? Mood, happiness, all that good stuff. But what if I told you it's also found in huge amounts in things you'd never expect, like kiwis, tomatoes, and even stinging nettles? It kind of makes you wonder, what on earth is the happy hormone doing in a kiwi fruit? Is it for the plant's own good, or is something else going on entirely?
Okay, to get to the bottom of this, let's meet our two main characters. In one corner, we've got serotonin, the star of the show. It's famous, it's well studied, and you can find it all over the plant kingdom. And in the other corner, we have tryptamine, its precursor. Now, for the longest time, scientists just thought of it as a stepping stone on the way to making serotonin. But there's a big problem with that theory. Plants often build up and store tryptamine to really, really high levels. And that suggests it's not just passing through. It has a job of its own.
To solve this mystery of tryptamine's purpose, first we've got to understand how it's even made. So, let's follow the breadcrumbs along the plant's own chemical assembly line.
It all starts with a pretty common amino acid, tryptophan. But the first really critical move is made by an enzyme called TDC. Think of TDC as the gatekeeper. It's the one that converts tryptophan into our molecule of interest, tryptamine. From there, another enzyme can turn that tryptamine into serotonin, and that can eventually become melatonin. But the key thing to remember here is that TDC enzyme. It controls the front door to this entire pathway, and it decides how much tryptamine gets made in the first place. It's the boss.
Now here's where things get absolutely mind-blowing. This whole chemical machinery, it's not some recent plant innovation. No way. We're talking about a story that is billions of years old.
This timeline just lays out the incredible history. This pathway probably first showed up in bacteria something like 3.5 times billion years ago. And why? Well, it was likely a defense against a dangerous new pollutant that was filling the atmosphere, oxygen. So they started making antioxidants like melatonin just to survive. Then, in these two huge moments in the history of life, those ancient bacteria were literally swallowed up by other cells, eventually becoming the mitochondria and chloroplasts that power our cells and plant cells today. And get this, they brought their chemical toolkit along with them. So plants, and even us, we all inherited this amazing assembly line from microbes that lived eons ago.
Okay, so we know how it's made, and we know it's ancient, but that still doesn't tell us why a plant would bother stockpiling all this tryptamine. For that, we need to open up the evidence locker and look at the hard data. Where's the stuff, and what is it actually doing?
All right, so where can we find all this supposedly important tryptamine? You might think it's locked away in some rare, exotic plant deep in a rainforest, right? Nope, not at all. The answer might actually be in your kitchen right now.
Just take a look at these numbers. In a young, green kiwi fruit, tryptamine levels are at a massive 16 micrograms per gram. That's almost as high as the much more famous serotonin. And you see pretty big amounts in tomatoes, plums, and hot peppers too. I mean, to put that in perspective, that is a huge concentration for a molecule that people used to just write off as a simple intermediate. Plants are clearly making and keeping this stuff for a very good reason.
And all that data leads us right to the core argument from the researchers. They put it right out there, saying tryptamine cannot be classed as a mere intermediate, but rather as an end product with potentially important functions. This one sentence changes absolutely everything. It's not just a step, it's a destination. It means tryptamine has its own agenda.
So what is that agenda? Well, the evidence points overwhelmingly to one thing: defense. Tryptamine is a key weapon in the plant's chemical arsenal. It acts as an anti-feedant, basically making leaves taste awful to insects. It can even mess with their sense of smell, scrambling their internal GPS. It helps fight off those tiny little worms in the soil. And, maybe most cleverly, one hypothesis suggests that it acts as a kind of biochemical laxative. It ensures that any animal that eats the fruit, well, let's just say it helps spread the seeds around a little more efficiently.
So, after looking at all the evidence, what's the verdict? For now, it's pretty clear. Tryptamine is not just a stand-in for serotonin. It's a key player in its own right.
And when we zoom out and look at the combined roles of tryptamine, serotonin, and their relatives, this whole family of molecules called indolamines, we see this picture of incredible versatility.
I mean, as this chart shows, defense is their biggest job, taking up about 40% of their time. But they're also super critical for growth, for responding to stress like a drought, and for sending signals all through the plant, almost like hormones.
So, is the case of the mysterious precursor closed? Not quite. Not completely. But the verdict is definitely in on the main question. Tryptamine is so much more than just a simple step on the way to somewhere else. It is an active, vital, and totally independent molecule in a plant's incredibly sophisticated biochemical toolkit.
So the next time you see a simple plant, just remember the vast, ancient, and still mostly unexplored chemical world that's hiding inside. We've put one really important piece of the puzzle in place today, but the full picture, it's far from complete. It really leaves you wondering, what other secrets are they just waiting to tell us?